It is Harlan. I just want to check. Hey, everybody, it is Harlan. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody good? Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. Vegas, I can't tell you about Vegas because you know what they say, what happened in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. All right, can everybody hear me clearly? All righty. Well, we're going to jump in just a minute and more people are coming on. I'm not going to give it very long. I'm going to give them um, a minute or so, um, and then we're going to jump in. Um, and oh, away we go. Away we go. So thanks for being here. Let's give them one more minute on the clock, and then we get started. That was a quick minute. Let's go. So this is about wealth and building your future. And we have been talking about wealth and building your future. And we've been talking about assets. And when we talked about assets, we were talking about businesses and buying real estate and going into commercial real estate. And for each thing that we talked about, that people make sound so good, the truth of the matter we saw is that there is an exceptional amount of risk associated in every single one of them. Now, we live in a really confusing time. Not only is it a confusing time, but everything that we were told is like it's like living our lives on quicksand. And what's here today, unfortunately, is gone tomorrow. There are so many people who live their lives and they were told work hard, go to school, get a good job, um, work, and then retire, and you'll live happily for the rest of your life. But unfortunately, that's not the way it is. It is more um, go to school, get a good job, work, work, work. Don't retire because you can't afford to. Work, and work some more. And what are you left with? You're left with really little. If you have money and you put it in the bank, interest rates in the banks are so low that banks are considering negative interest. Negative interest. They don't really want your money in the bank because they'd rather you spend the money. And there are banks in Europe that have negative interest, meaning like the cost of living is so high that if you if you put the money in the bank instead of using it, you're actually losing money. Uh, if you work for any kind, or you've worked for any kind of civil organization, um, your pension is not secure. I live in Boca Raton, Florida. Just 2 years ago, in Hollywood, Florida, um, the city of Hollywood ran out of money. And they said to the police officers, look, we can lay off the majority of the police force. We don't want to, but we just don't have the money to pay you. Or you can agree that we raid your pension fund and not pay it back. And that's in fact what they did. So the bottom line is that the sugar coated future that most people thought they were going to have after retirement is really going to be filled for many, many people with poverty, um, Social Security has been raided so many times, there isn't going to be much there for you. I mean, my friend um, retired. This is he retired just a couple of months ago. And his Social Security is $1,100 a month. $1,100 a month. How many people, how many people here could live comfortably on $1,100 a month in the United States? Live the life of their dreams, go to see grandkids, um, maybe give some money to charity, pay their rent. Okay. How many people could do that? Not many, not many at all. But this is the state of things today. So if you want to create an asset, I told you the story. I followed up in our last webinar. I told you about the woman who wanted to buy the tutoring business, where they told her it was making a couple of $100,000 a year, and they wanted 120,000 for the business, and she was all gung ho, and she was going to borrow the money. And then I looked at the numbers, and the woman who owned the business was actually taking home something like 30,000 a year, and the price went down to 60,000. And I found out that after my looking at the books, my friend said, "No way do I want this business." So how does an ordinary person who has lived and worked their whole life for someone become wealthy? And that's what this is all about. Now, I know that there are all kinds of stories about people who hit the lottery and they were poor yesterday and they're a multimillionaire today. What happens to them? What happens to the money when they win the lottery overnight and they've been poor their whole life? What happens to that money? Type in. You guys know it. It's gone. They lose it all. It's lost. Okay? Because they didn't have the tools. They're broke as soon as possible. Okay? You know, the same thing happens, by the way, with NFL players. Many of them came from really poor families. They go into the NFL, they're given $1 million contracts, and the money is just gone because they never learned anything about money. It's they waste it. They're broke again. This is what's going on, but they don't have anything. They do not have a single thing that they can pass on to their children. And generally, a friend of mine was here, and he was close with somebody who was not close with the family. And when he died, my friend got permission. He was the only contact that he had. There's a special agency in New York that gave him permission to go into the apartment and remove whatever he wanted. And he saw books that and items that the guy probably spent a fortune for. But he was allowed basically to take out one case of things. He didn't know what to do. It goes to the state. It goes to the state. But if there's real wealth, you know, there's an old joke that where there's a will, there's a relative. That's for someone else. What about for you? Don't you deserve something better? That's what tonight is all about. It's about building an asset that grows. Now, this is a site, I sent out an email about this. This is a site called The Wirecutter. Now, The Wirecutter is not the fanciest site on the planet. It is essentially, um, it is essentially a, it is essentially a, a free version of Consumer Reports. How many people here have ever seen Consumer Reports, right? Tell me if you've read Consumer Reports. Okay. Lots of people saying yes one time, yeah. All the time, I read it. Okay. I still subscribe. Okay. Well, this is like Consumer Reports, but Consumer Reports is an unbiased report. These people are biased. And when we choose readers to buy our independently chosen editorial picks, when readers choose to buy our independently chosen editorial picks, we earn affiliate commissions that support our work. This is an Amazon affiliate site. This and its sister site, Sweet Home, you can see they look almost the same. They even share content. These two sites were bought by the New York Times for, ready? Brace yourself, $30 million. $30 million. Do you think that would buy you a little bit of a retirement? Which would you choose? Selling two websites for $30 million or working in Walmart? People are going, oh, yeah, Walmart. I want to be the greeter. No, I want to be the checkout person. Okay. The bottom line is these sites, viral sites, can be incredibly valuable. All right, so let's understand this. Why would the New York Times buy this? Now, what you're about to see is going to surprise you, but it's absolutely true, and there's visual proof. Okay, $30 million. To paraphrase Nobel laureate Robert Zimmerman, also known as Bob Dylan, the times they are a changing. And I'm talking here this time about the New York Times. The news has drastically changed. When I grew up, the New York Times there were three papers in New York. There was the New York Times, that was the newspaper. It's actually still known as the newspaper of record. They consider, if it was in the New York Times, it was official. People lived their whole lives just wondering about what their obituary in the New York Times was going to be like because, um, you know, if it wasn't in the New York Times, I guess you probably weren't dead. Um, Now, the New York Times, which his nickname was the Old Gray Lady, is basically being chased out of town by newer sites. And the newer sites aren't doing the same things as the 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 the, um, the newer sites aren't doing the same things as the old sites did. The news is changing. They are offering diverse content, not what the New York Times always did. And the New York Times sees what people are reading, what they're forwarding, and what they're saving. And boy, were they ever in for a surprise. Now, on the front page of the New York Times, this is recommended for you. This is what the New York Times suggests you read. Look at these articles and tell me, categorize these articles. Would you say these are entertainment? Um, these are about health? These are news, editorial? Tell me, classify these for me. Larry said, this is classified as boring. These are politics, okay? Scandal, news on the election, news. It's news. It's nothing but politics. Politics news, bad news. Okay. This is what the New York Times suggests you read. Remember, they want to be considered a newspaper. So please read our news. But this is what people are really reading. For helping immigrants, Chobani's founder draws threats. Read Boober, not the polls. Doubts about promised bounty of genetically modified crops. How much suffering can you take? Going flat after breast cancer. The election forecast. Listening clubs tantalize audiophiles in London. Where's the love for donkeys? A little known fact about trade, it's no longer rising. Out of 10 articles, only number 2 is about the news. What would you say about how would you classify everything else? Put it into a group. Tell me, what would you call everything else here? And people are typing in human interest, infotainment, real world bubblegum for the mind, junk people eat up, features, educational content. But do you see that it's all over the place? These are things that people are interested in, and it's not what the New York Times was interested in. It's all over the place. Michael calls it a hodgepodge, and that's absolutely correct. But that's how the news is changing. And the New York Times knows either change with it, or boy, are you out of luck. Here's the new equation. Marketers used to say the money is in the list, but now it's money is in the content. People are finding sites that they love about topics that they love, and they're following them. And the way the news is delivered is changing. I used to get the New York Times delivered to me in school every single day. My brother would buy the New York Times, at the newsstand every day. I think we had like 3 different editions of the New York Times every day. That's the way we got our news. Other people bought them on the subway. They used to say about people were so ashamed in the era of the New York Times to read the daily news that people used to say, I found it on the subway. Okay? So what's going on? Many magazines are dying. Like they're gone. Their subscriber rate is so low, they run deals like this. They'll give me online access, unlimited online access to their site, if I just subscribe to their Sunday Times at home. They want to be able to manipulate their numbers and say that their subscribers are higher. So they're bribing me to accept a newspaper on Sunday, which I feel guilty about because 99% of the time I don't even take it out of the plastic wrapper. It just goes from driveway into recycling bucket. But this is the state of the art today. And people are reading and getting the news on their phones, on tablets, on Kindles, and watches. And stories that Pat says special interest magazines are going strong, like quilting, interior design, handyman, and sites like those that you just said, Pat, quilting, interior design, handymen, sites about those are going to be worth 7 figures in a few years. And sites like the New York Times are going to be gobbling them up the way my dog gobbles up a treat. Anyone disagree with me? Anyone say, no, newspapers are coming back? I don't see anyone saying that. So how do these sites make money and what makes them valuable? Well, newspapers used to sell subscription. They're not doing that well anymore. As someone pointed out to me, even Playboy basically shut down. Why? Because people didn't want to pay for what they can get online free. Online papers have tried selling content. You go to some of these things and they do something that's called content gating. You can see part of the article, but you can't see the whole article unless you pay them. And people are saying, the heck with you, buddy. I'll go to another site where I can get it for free. And if other sites are giving it away, well, how can you charge for something that's already free? It doesn't really work. So Google AdSense came along to help publishers. And in helping publishers, boy, did they help themselves. When someone comes to your site and clicks on one of the ads on your site, Google splits the revenue with you. And let me tell you, that revenue can add up to a lot of money. So as soon as this program started, the scammy, slimy internet marketers said, let's fool Google, right? So sites had no content but were filled with ads. Hey, fake sites with just links and stolen content were extremely popular. Machine-generated sites filled the internet. There were programs where you put in the topics that you wanted your sites to come about to create, and they would just spam the internet, endless content, and then you made money with the AdSense ads. I was at an internet marketing convention where someone sold a program, and he sold 16,000 sites with AdSense on them. They would put the AdSense on, and they would just push a button, and you would have 16,000 sites, and they sold this for $16,000. Of course, you had to buy the domain names, but they kind of left that out. Here's the funny thing. There was a rush to the back of the room for people who wanted to buy these sites. And within a couple of days, Google banned all of those sites. Google showed it wasn't so stupid. They realized those sites were garbage and they were out of there. Boom, gone. And since it was within a week, the guy had to return all of that money because everybody knew it was a lie. AdSense started cracking down. You have to have real content, spun content, stolen content, duplicate content. They're all crushed. Now, I know to this day, there are marketers with article spinners. An article spinner basically is a piece of software that you take an article, you put it in, and they promise to, with the touch of a button, rewrite the article for you. And they say that the article is just as good as, but now it's original content. And some of these things say that they invited you to test their content. So I went ahead and I subscribed to one of these. And I dropped in an article. It was about uh, a van in New Jersey that was parked outside a pet store, and someone noticed the van sitting there, and they called animal control, and animal control went in, and they found dozens of sick or dying dogs in that van. So I took that article, followed their directions, and spun it. And you know what the result was? I had an article that looked like it had been written by someone who spoke English as their 18th language. It was awful. I just couldn't help laughing about it. The words that they chose made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And yet these bozos think that anyone could take an article like that, post it on Google, and Google will let them collect money for it. They're not that stupid. And Google cracked down even further. Photo content. If you just post pictures, Google doesn't consider that content anymore. Video content. That's not real content either. Google is saying, we want real, authentic content. And that is what this is all about. It's about real, authentic content. And the bottom line is that when you have real, authentic content, the bottom line is that Google will be very happy for you to have that, for you to make money on that. Google considers you their partner. They don't want to screw you. They want to pay you. And as we're going to see, Google has something even more. The key phrase that Google wants you to know about is positive user experience. And when I was talking to the folks over at Facebook, they use the terms either positive user experience or negative user experience. Both Google and Facebook see that they have part of their responsibility is to protect their users from crappy sites. And therefore, if you put up junk, you should expect Google or Facebook to slap you. Or as my kids used to say, using the Yiddish word for slap was potch. And they would say, you do something like this and Google is gonna potch you. Facebook is gonna potch you. Okay? So the bottom line is that and someone who speaks Yiddish said, I was laughing, and Dave, my friend David goes, they're going to pot you in the keppel, which means they're going to slap you on the side of the head. So the bottom line is they don't want garbage. They want quality sites. And if you give Google a quality site, Google's going to give you money. And if you give Google a lot of content and it's popular and you're in a niche where people care about and are passionate about, Google is going to give you a lot of money. How much money? Well, I know people who are making 5 and 6 figures. Hold on to your seats, folks, ladies and gentlemen. I know people who are making 5 and 6 figures a day. A day, that's right, I said it. There are people making 5 and 6 figures a day. And how are they doing it? By giving really good content. Is anybody left standing out there? What would you do if you had a site that, forget 5 or 6 figures a day, that made you that every month like clockwork? Okay, on the 20th of the month, Google AdSense deposits the money. It moves the money from them into your bank account. They don't send out checks anymore. And typically, they move, you get an email on the 20th, and by the 21st, it's in your bank account. How many people would sing praises to Google if that happened? Peggy asked a great question, and I promise I'm going to get to that. Okay? You would love it. Okay, I would do it. So the bottom line is give a positive user experience, and Google's going to send you money. Now, here is negative user experience. This is one of the most outrageous things online today. I saw this yesterday, and here is a picture of it's called lingerie football, and here someone is tackling this woman by pulling her shorts down, exposing her butt, and this is something that people want to see. And first of all, as I put it over here, I just want to show you where it says source the celebrity lane. This isn't even original content. They're saying, yes, we stole this content from the celebrity lane, okay? And now let's take a look at what's going on here. Number one is here's an ad for the Bellagio Hotel. Right underneath this picture of this gal with her tush hanging out is click on the ad to go to the Bellagio. Now look how little content there is over here. Let's count it. What's 3 lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17, it gets down. So what, they got 50 words of content here, maybe? 50, 55 words of content? And underneath it, so here's ad number 1, here's ad number 2, here's ad number 3. Now, I can tell you, because I've seen this ad a bunch of times, and I spotted this ad on the Drudge Report, that these are among the people who are making 5 and 6 figures a day. When someone clicks on this ad, or this ad, they get paid. And there were many, 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 many more ads on the page. So this was a slideshow. And this slideshow, I asked the question, I don't call it a slideshow, I call it a spam show. Now, I want you to pay attention to something really important. This is super, super important. Do you see, this is a Google ad. Here's another Google ad. Do you see the arrow over here? Do you see the arrow over there? If someone wants to go to the next slide, what are they likely to do? What do you think is going to happen? Super important. They're going to click the green button. They're going to hit the wrong arrow. Green means go. Click the arrow. They're going to click on the arrow. They're going to go to the ad, and it's all going to be a mistake. And how do you think these advertisers feel when that people are clicking on their ads by mistake? Do you think those are people who want to buy whatever they're selling, or they want to look at more pull down exposed butts? What do you think those people are there for? To buy something, or to leer at or to leer at somebody's rear end? They're there for butts, Sean says. And the sponsors will be mad. These are called bad clicks. And if Google is the one getting complaints from advertisers, and Google sees this, what do you think Google's going to do? You think Google's going to say, oh, this is really valuable content here. We're so glad. Keith says they're going to say bye-bye. Brian says they're going to slap them. Because Google has some values. And this is not valuable content. And they will ban the site. They will correct it. They will ban not just the site, but they will ban the account. And so this is ad spamming. This is ad spamming. Here you have R-rated content. How many people would consider that news? Okay? The truth of the matter is it's quasi-porn. Okay? It's R-rated content. The slideshows force you to click through. Every time you click, you see more ads. They hide the next slide in between, the next thing that you have to click in between ads. They have these arrow ads. Now, the arrow ads were made not by the advertiser, but they were made by Google. Google made them. Why do you think Google put arrows in the ads? Why do you think Google put arrows in the ads? And people are typing in so people would click on them. But didn't they know that when people clicked on them, they underneath these slideshows, that they were going to get bad clicks? Because Google wants to make money too. There are so many bad clicks that that in May, Google had to do something. It was called the Nessia update. And in the Nessia update, what they did was they took away the arrows in the ads. And you know what happened to people's income? It went down. People who were making $100,000 a day, all of a sudden were making $15,000 or $25,000 a day. And they were mad. But since this is a partnership between Google and the site owners, if the site owner lost money, who else lost money? This is tough. Tough question here. If the site owners lost money, who else lost money? Google, 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 the big G. Everybody lost money. And so the arrows, as you just saw, they came back. Now, the site that I took that from, I didn't save the name of the site, but the site that came from had pop-unders. When I clicked next, I saw something going on. I didn't know what was going on. But when I got rid of that site, there were 2 pages, and one of them was talking to me, and I certainly didn't click on anything to make it talk. So when I clicked on the next ad, it brought up 2 web pages underneath my browser that I couldn't see. And all of a sudden, one of them started playing advertisements. Okay? The bottom line is that there's some really scammy stuff out there with those automatic players playing the ads. That's what they call a negative user experience when multiple ads scream at you. How many people think that's a pretty disgusting thing? Someone just typed in, as I was saying it, it's maddening. It's absolutely maddening. Okay? But there's money in it. And Charlie just said, and now Facebook is on autoplay too. Facebook has the videos that just automatically play. These are the new spam sites, and Google is going after them. So why do people do this? Well, when they ask bank robber Willie Sutton, why do you rob banks? His answer was, that's where the money is. And that's why our newest scoundrels, the internet, the people who are selling internet garbage sites, What they want you to do is they want you to trick people into clicking on ads. And when you trick people into clicking on ads, they're looking for a payday. So why do these people spam? Because these people are making over 6 figures a day. If Google shuts them down, they just open under a new corporation, new credit card, different IP address, different names on the account. The heck? For 6 figures a day, they'll buy new clean computers. I know a guy who lost over $100,000. He had $100,000 payout in his Google account when Google suspended him for his shenanigans, took the money, and all he did was just go, oh well, and he started all over again. Why is Google letting them? Because there are so many millions of these sites. Google has to find them. And how do they find them? By tracking the bad clicks. And if they see a significant number of bad clicks on a site, Google is all over it, and out you go. But for people for whom bad clicks are their way of life, well, you got to live with yourself. Now, the nice thing is that when you have one of these crooked, spammy sites, it's not going to be around for long. Google is going to get you. And that's not a good way to build business, knowing that at any moment you could be making $100,000 a day and Google could come along, seize all of your money, and just keep it. Now, I've been told Google claims that they're going to return the money to the advertisers. People in the know say, Google just keeps the money. And if you want to build a business on quicksand, you might make some money short term, but it's not a long-term thing because Google is going to crush these people. They are constantly sharpening their algorithm. And why do it when you can have a legitimate site that makes 6 figures a month, and then you could turn around and sell it for millions of dollars and live the life of your dreams? Now that, to me, makes more sense than trying to cheat someone. I'd really rather show my family my Dogington Post site, and I would be embarrassed to show my family a site where some girl's running with a football with her tushy sticking out. I don't know. That's just me. But the cat and mouse game continues even today. It's always that way. And the bottom line is, I'd rather be legit. Legit sites make really good money too. Long content without slideshows makes really good money. You provide interesting and addictive content, and people will come and make you one of their favorite sites. Not only will people come, but once you get to be a certain size, you start getting approached by everyone. And you don't have to go to them. Trust me, you grow one of these sites and people will find you on a daily basis. A day does not go by without 3 or 4 companies coming forward and say, hey, could we put advertising on your site? We'll pay you more than anyone else. It's a daily thing with me. People become raving fans of your sites, and sites can make upwards of 6 figures a month without spamming or being a nuisance. That's what this is all about. Now, here's my site. You know it. I've talked about it before. It's about 4 years old now. After 2 years, I told the story in an email if you didn't see it. This company wrote to me and they said, we like your site. We are in the process of acquiring sites, especially in the pet industry. And if you would be open to a discussion, we are interested tentatively in acquiring the Dogington Post. And then a whole bunch of things that they wanted to see. They wanted to see how much traffic. They wanted to be added to my Google Analytics account. And I could find very little information on these people. I kept looking and looking. And eventually, I went ahead and I found the company. It was an Israeli company. And I spoke to them and I said, hey, I'm coming to Israel. Would you like to meet? And they went, boy, would we ever. And I remember their offices were like in the middle of a farm. It was outside Tel Aviv. I can't believe I found them. I was calling the guy saying, his directions weren't good. But eventually I got there. And I went into the offices and they were like, the middle, I'm telling you, it was in the middle of like farmland. And then there was a small building and I went in there and everything was high tech. Everything was high tech. Computers, brilliant people there. And they showed me that they had acquired many other sites and their goal was to dominate the pet niche, or specifically the dog niche. And they had acquired another site, which I knew, and I actually tracked down the owner when I was doing my due diligence, and he let it be known that he sold his site for just under $700,000. And my site was way, way bigger than his site was. And he knew who I was, and he knew our content, and I listened to them. I talked to them. They studied the numbers, and they turned around. And after 2 years, they said to me, we'd like to make you a 7-figure offer for your site. And I was like, okay, build a site, 2 years, $1 million. $1 million site in 2 years. That's not bad. But I said, keep going. And we kind of broke things off. They tried to reach back to me a couple of times in the past. I know that they're out there. I know that they want the site. They're watching it. They're stalking it. And one day, it's going to go beyond 7 figures. And when they offer me 8 figures, offer me more than $10 million for the top dog site on the internet, what do you think I'm going to say? I'm going to say, woof, woof, baby. Here's the send it along. And oh, by the way, you need to keep me online. You need to keep me online. You need to keep me aboard as, some token title. And you need to keep paying me for at least a couple of years. If Michael say, who's a good boy? How much tax do you have to pay on that? Actually, if you're really smart and you hire my friend Lee Marcus, who's on the call, as your accountant, you'll probably pay very little tax. So, it's all matters how you do it. Now, everybody says, okay, Harlan, come on. Everybody says, okay, Harlan, you did the Dogington Post. You're wonderful. You're magical. But I'm just me. I can't do this. I am about to blow that argument right out of the water. Watch this. This is a site that we built for someone who is in our beta program. Melissa has the natural doggy. She does all the content herself, and she hasn't been spending a whole bunch of time on it, but she loves it. And the people love her. She's up to about 35,000 likes on Facebook. And let me tell you, when she posts content, everybody gets involved. This woman gets more messages on her site than I do. But that's not what I'm talking about here. Watch this. Here are the numbers. How engaged are the visitors to the natural doggy? The bounce rate, meaning they don't leave the same page, or they leave the same page, is 33%. That's a really good number. The lower the number, the better it is. How many page views? How many other articles do they read? They read 5 page views per visitor. Daily time on the site, 6 minutes. Now look at my site. My bounce rate is almost 80%. That means they come, they read an article, and they're off. Daily page views per visitor, 1.86%. 1.86 versus her 5 pages. Daily time on the site, 6 minutes. Mine, 2 minutes. I saw these numbers. I was on a call with Melissa. I saw these numbers. I said, Melissa, you're kicking my ass. And she just laughed. And I said, Melissa, if you keep this up, you are going to be the top dog site in the world in a few years. Or she'll be the top natural dog site in the world. And Melissa said, oh, Harlan, I'll always make room at the top for you for being my teacher. Now, how do you think I feel that one of my students is doing better than I am statistically? And she's starting to make money too, and the money's coming in every single day. I think it's fantastic. I feel amazing. Linda says you're proud of her. Sean says you're proud of her. Damn straight I'm proud of her. The student becomes the teacher. I think it's fantastic. So for all of these people who say, well, Harlan, we could never do what you do, of course you can. You might even do it better than I do it. You might even make money because it's a formula. Now, here's a true story, okay? I'm Jewish, and you know that when you're Jewish, part of the credentials of being Jewish is you have to know how to make good chicken soup. And I make chicken soup that, not bad. I put the chicken in the morning. I cook it all day. And then at the end of the day, when everybody sits down to the chicken soup, it's really potent. And David says like Bubby makes. And it's really potent. And people say it's like wine. And then I went to visit someone who made a really incredible soup. And this is true story. I begged for their recipe. I came home and I made the soup their way. My 19-year-old son comes and he goes, ooh, what smells so good? I said, I'm making chicken soup. He said, no. What smells so good? I said, chicken soup. He says, Dan, you make chicken soup all the time. This doesn't smell like your chicken soup. Totally humiliated. I said, well, I'm trying a new recipe. Okay. So he tells me that this soup, it's not even cooked yet, but sounds better than mine. Wait, gets even better. My 17-year-old daughter comes home from school. My 17-year-old daughter is a vegetarian, doesn't eat meat. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm making chicken soup." She goes, "Can I have a bowl?" I don't say anything like, "But wait a minute, aren't you vegetarian?" I just go and I give her a bowl of soup. I made the pot of soup. I told my friend, I made the soup and everybody wants it. She said, "How big is your pot?" I said, "It's an 8-quart pot." She said, "Oh, I should have warned you. That's not going to be big enough." Do you know that the soup was gone before dinner? When you have a good recipe, all you need to do is follow the recipe. It gets worse. My mother came the next day. She tastes the soup and she says, "This is the best soup I ever had." Now, I thought I made a decent soup. But the bottom line is that when you follow a better recipe, you get better results. What are the best niches? What are the absolute best niches to make money in today? I'm going to tell you right now. The best niches are, number one, dog sites. And number two, sites that are related to women, cooking, recipes, or health. If they are relating to one or two of these sites, it is money in the bank. It is money in the bank. Now, there are other things, but the two sites that the New York Times were bought, in a way that those were related to women because they were shopping sites, making life easier for women who have to go out and buy things. And incidentally, these are the two niches I've dedicated programs to with my 6 and 6 program and Selling to Venus. We were in the right niches, but to make money, all it takes is content. Can there be too many of these sites? No way. And by the way, it's not just Google wants to pay you money. Yahoo's ad platform is called Media.net. Media.net actually pays me more money every month than Google. It's fantastic. I gotta love it. But you can't get into Media.net easily unless you have an introduction. Outbrain. Their ads are everywhere. They're making people money. You'll see Outbrain, you'll see Taboola on CNN, MSNBC, every sites around the globe because they're helping these companies make money. Rev Content has two levels. The first one that I tell my people to avoid, but they make more money, is where it's the R-rated stuff, like the lady with the football and her tush showing. But they also have PG related stuff. You'll make money with the PG stuff. You won't make as much money. I know that if I put that stuff with people, women's tushies hanging out on my dog side, people would be very, very upset. Frankly, I'm the parent of a teenager, and I don't like that stuff. I think it's sending the wrong message, and I don't want that crap on my site. MGID, people haven't heard of them. They're out there. They want to monetize. They want your sites. And there are many, many more. Every single day, I've told you, people say, we can monetize the videos on your site. I have someone emailing me. He has emailed me no less than 30 times begging me to put ads in all of my newsletters for Dogington and Cannington. They want to have ads appear. And I said, yeah, who else does this? He says, the New York Times is our biggest client. Okay. This is the future of publishing, and there's money in it. And even a small publisher, because that's what you are, can make 4, 5, or 6 figures a month down the road. Now, Google isn't lying down. Google knows that all these companies are coming around. And so they've decided to get revenge. How are they getting revenge? By making their sites even better. They are making their sites even better. And what did they do is they want to pay you more. The old rule was 3 ads per page. That's it. The new rule is be appropriate. You want to put 12 ads on your page, make sure it's filled with long content. There are rules for it, but they don't care. More ads. Why would they want more ads on? Why would they want more Google ads? More Google ads is more money. More ads, more clicks, more revenue for you, more revenue for Google. And the best part is you don't have to sell a thing. Just post interesting content. The ads automatically appear once you set them up one time. The ads automatically appear. People click on the ads. You make money. And it is absolutely simple. There's a catch, but we got this. Number one, Google is making it harder to get an AdSense account than it's ever been. So I'm going to make an unheard of offer that guarantees your acceptance into a program that puts Google and other advertisers on your site. Guarantees it. It's simple. All you do is provide the content. Where do I find content? Well, my viral curation software brings the content to you. You'll never ever miss out on great content. Facebook loves, and I mean loves, viral content. We find it for you and make it simple to succeed. Look at this. I ran this right before the webinar. I used my software and I said, okay, show me the most popular articles about dogs in the past month. So here was an article about Montreal's pit bull ban has been suspended for now. It had been shared, if you add up Facebook and Twitter, close to 400,000 times. So you're sharing already viral content. 25 hilarious photos of cats sleeping on dogs, shared 181,000 times. This is why dogs like to sit on your feet. I had no idea. Shared over 100,000 times. This guy built a kayak so he can enjoy his favorite hobby with his dogs. 55,000 times. You know how I found the content? All this content? It took 30 seconds. And then I just go in, I curate the content, I publish the content, and boom, I can compete with the biggest sites out there. Simple, easy, schmeezy. Click, publish it. The ads are already there. And I bring people to my site and I make money. That's the way to start making 4, 5, 6 figures a month. Do this consistently and turn around and you will have a site that's worth 6 or 7 figures. This is not a site, Pete. This is my software. Here's a site that we built for one of the members in our beta test group, My Real Travels. It's all about life in Hawaii, and you see the ads here. Here is Thriving on Plants. You see the ads here, and look how gorgeous these sites are. You think women aren't interested in vacations in Hawaii? You think women aren't interested in healthy lifestyles? This is how people make money. These sites are going to be worth real money because there's legitimate content and people want to read this stuff. Hold your horses. all about horses and health. All you need is traffic and you're making money. And this woman's an absolute beginner. I'm telling you, our first session, she didn't even know how to get into her email. But look at her site. So here is a bold proposition. This is a crazy bold proposition. I've never said anything like that, but after the beta program is up and running and people have their sites up, my site was worth 7 figures in 2 years, but I'm a maniac. Everybody knows that. Let's say it takes you twice that. Let's say it takes you 4 years. 4 years from now, you're making 5 to 6 figures a month. For $10 a day, I'll guarantee you a site worth 6 to 7 figures. $10 a day, 6 to 7 figures. You tell me whether that's a fair deal. If you think it's not a fair deal, well, Walmart is waiting for you. But if you think it's a fair deal, I invite you to join my VCM program, my Viral Cash Magnet program. This is simple. I want you to go over now and look at the page. What do you get? Let's go to Kilstein. Oh, I've got to put the link in. Now, I'm an absolute spaz at that. Would someone go in and tell me whether that works or not? Let's see. Because typos and stuff. Please tell me, does that work? Is that the right link? I'm trying to type it in here and it's not even... Is it working? It's working. Okay, so this is what we do. What niches should you select? I'll show you which niches make the most money and how to pick the names, how to choose a domain name, what not to do, where you should host your site. It's not GoDaddy, it's not HostGator, it's not Bluehost. You've got to have a hosting company that you can rely on that will help you out and not blame you. This is not an affiliate thing of me trying to make you money, to make money off. I don't even send out affiliate links. It's not worth it. I just want you covered. Which theme you should install on your site and how to set it up for maximum effectiveness and maximum money. How to set up Google Analytics on your site. How to use tracking links so you can see where you're making money, and that's really important. How to write articles Google will love and people will click on. How to post articles to your site with photos. Now, there are special rules if you don't have AdSense yet, and there are different rules if you do. How Google's newest rules make you more money and make maximum money out of every post you make. How to place Google AdSense on your site. Which ads do you use? Where do you place them? How to place Yahoo ads on your site. How to build a Facebook page for your site. How to get the cheapest possible likes for your Facebook page. How to get great engagement on your Facebook page. How to track your traffic and your income. How to test and scale for success. 45 days of access to my viral curation software for just $1. And personal invitations to some of the highest paying programs online as your site grows. I will introduce you to these people. Now, I don't want everyone in the program. You got to be willing to take action. You got to follow the plan step by step. If I had changed the recipe on the chicken soup, it would not have turned out the way as planned. And I only want to deal with people who have a positive success attitude. Now, I am going to tell you that there are 2 upsells. Personally, I don't like upsells. I don't like them very much at all. But what I do want, and I recognize that some people want to do the work themselves and some people don't. So there's an upsell where my team will create the content for you. We will create 30 articles around your topic, and we will put them up on the site with pictures for you. If that works for you, great. If not, you want to do them yourselves, just get them done. You can't get anywhere unless you get the articles done. You need 30 articles with about 1,000 words of content. That's the first thing. Then there's another upsell, and that is if you want to work with me personally. All of the content is going to be in a Facebook group. And everything you need is going to be in there. But if you want to work with me personally, well, you're invited to do that too. That's another option. Those are the only two upsells, and it's completely your choice. And the cost of the program is $10 a day. $10 a day. There are 3 ways you can pay. Choose the one that works for you. Now, as you go through, I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give away my secret, and that is there is a super special bonus for people who join and go all the way through, either choosing the things that they want or they don't. You got to get to the final page, because on the final page, there's a special bonus that is worth hundreds of dollars. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. I'll answer them. We already have people who are making 4 figures a month. Some people are coming close to 5 figures a month. Personally, I know people who are not in my program who are doing 6 figures a month in sites such as this. This is doable. Anybody can do it. It's totally up to you. If you've got some questions, go ahead and type them in and I'll answer them. I'll stick around for questions. Your niches in the dating space. Yeah, there are niches in the dating space that are doing 6 figures a month. Absolutely. How long is the program? I'm going to be dripping the content because some people go faster. I'm planning to drip it all out over 2 months. How much is the software after the 45 days? $97 a month. Payment options, they're all on that page. Why are GoDaddy, HostGator, and Bluehost not reliable? Because, first of all, number one, our experience is that these sites are down a lot. Number two, in particular, WordPress has a very weird loading configuration for WordPress, and the sites are particularly slow, and they're down a lot. When HostGator and Bluehost, you need support, there's typically a minimum of a 1 hour wait, and we want things to work faster than that. If you have a current website, you can use that. Is this like the super site formula? Yeah, but turbocharged. Will people in the old program be able to participate in the Facebook group? Since they're ahead, we're going to have a new Facebook group for them. Does high impact curation work for these sites? That's an old way of doing things, and we advise it's one of the ways, but there are many, many others. Going to the last page, those people who take advantage of the offer, you're going to be taken from page to page. When you get to the last page, you'll see that there's a special bonus there. Okay? But you get there by joining. Other questions? I'm watching the questions coming in. No, this is not my theme. This is not my theme. Any use of video. You could put some video on your page, but video, if it's the primary form of content, Google is going to bite you, and hard. So you cannot curate just videos. I would love, personally, Brian, I would love to have a site about comedy with the old comics, with videos of Buddy Hackett and Milton Berle, Groucho Marx, Rodney Dangerfield. I would love a site like that. I would spend hours on my own site watching those videos. But unfortunately, Google says that's not real content. Now, you can get special permission from Google. It costs a fortune to be able to do that, but typically you don't get to do that. Now, we have really good support. Um, our support is an old friend of mine. Her name is Alexa, and she will be in the Facebook group with you. And as soon as you join, you'll be getting an email from Alexa telling you how to contact her for special help. My page has 72,000, mainly women, but for a specific breed. Will this work for a specific breed? Absolutely. 72,000? Congratulations. Can you cancel the $10 a day subscription after the site is stabilized and just use the software? Well, the $10 a day is not a subscription. The $10 a day is the program fee. The software is, when you're done, you could just use the software. What about video content from members? Look, you put your own video content up. That's fine, but you just cannot monetize YouTube content. Okay. The various levels. There aren't various levels. It's all one level. They're just various payment programs. Does this work in the marketing niche? Um, yes, it will work in the marketing niche, but you will get paid lower than you would if you were in one of the other niches. Yes, it would work. You just need lots of content. There were sites that people went to learn about marketing and stuff like that. Um, it would work there. Just, I can tell you that the dogs and women area work even better. Other questions? The $10 a day is one time. It's right here on the site. That's it, and it stops. When you hit the 1 year, when you hit the mark, there are three ways to pay. Go take a look at the page, and it's all explained. Remember, you could pay it all up front. You could do 2 payments. You could do 4 payments. If that doesn't work for you, go to the bottom, contact Sandra, and she'll work out a special payment for you. Tells you exactly how to contact her. This is easy. You can do this. You should do this only if you care about having something that does not take a huge investment that will be worth way more than the money that you put into it in the future. If that's something that's important to you, you want to do this. And everybody's getting in on this. We just, as I opened up my email to see the people who are coming aboard, I see something from Amazon that says, "Let us put Amazon ads on your website." Read regarding the 72,000 page. I do not have a website, so you would need to get one. That's what the program is all about. How many hours per week do you spend curating after it's all finished? That's up to you. But I would figure at least a half hour a day. Can you just order the software? Yes, you can. Just message me and I'll send you the link. Someone said this is a real no-brainer and you can outsource the site if you want. Any more questions? Curate means to just select the software, to just select the content. The New York Times said, we've curated this news for you. Would this work better in crafting or cooking niche? The most popular thing online is cooking sites. I'm not sure I understand your question. Do you pay for the ability to curate then? Curation means you are selecting the best, the very best news in your niche and feeding it to the people. The software does not generate articles. Google would not tolerate automatically generated articles. Software comes with extensive directions on how to use it. How do you get help in making sure you have the best niche? Join the program and you may be surprised when you get to the final page. All of that will be covered in the program, but there is a surprise on the last page, I promised you. This is a serious business. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. If you're looking for get-rich-quick schemes, I just saw something the other day that someone invented software for $27 that will get Facebook traffic to your site. Of course, Jim discovered that you don't really need to buy the software because Facebook gave away the software. But hey, you can have the shiny bright object syndrome. If you're really finished with chasing shiny bright objects and you want to build something that's going to guarantee your future, it starts here. And it starts by focusing and building a site that you can be proud of, that you can pass on to your children or your grandchildren, or you can turn around and sell. And believe me, you won't have to look for a seller. When you become the top niche, they will find you. They will come to you the same way the people in Israel found my site. I didn't go to them, they came to me. So folks, you have a choice. A choice to guarantee your future. You can live on $1,100 a month, more power to you. But frankly, I wouldn't even trust that that number is going to be around in the future. It's going down. On the other hand, the value of these sites is going up. Think about it. Go to kilstein.com/VCM, and I'll see you on the other side in the Facebook group. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for all of your great questions. I'll see you. Bye-bye, everybody.